Hi, Brian Young here with Vistek, product manager for video. Today I'm here with Sony's FS7 Camcorder. It looks a lot like an Anton 16mm film camera. One of the other really nice features of the camera is the fact that it has a full viewfinder with a full diopter set. And this is very powerful compared to virtually any other camera in its class because it allows you to get good, crisp focusing. This lens that I have on the camera is actually an optional lens. This is an 18-105 lens that comes from Sony as an option. Its price point is in around the $600 range. It is a powered lens, and again, with this camera, that's one of the other things about the ergonomic, is that with the handle here, we can actually power zoom this lens. One of the things about this lens, because it is a little bit wider, it does have a little bit of barrel distortion. So inside the camera, there is an electronic compensation mode that'll correct for that barreling with this lens. The optional kit lens for this camera that comes with the FS7K version is this lens, and this lens is a 27-135. Quite a nice lens. Value on this lens in Canadian dollars is in around the $3,000 range. So it adds a little bit to the price tag of the camera if you are buying it in the kit. But this lens gives you a nice extended zoom range. Now, one of the things to watch out for with these lenses is obviously they're measured at a full frame 35mm. So this particular lens, being at 27, has a crop factor of about 1.4, and if you do the math, means that it's actually about 39mm wide. So again, likely you're going to need a secondary lens like this one or any other option along with this lens to be able to get some of your wide angle stuff. But this lens also provides a lot of benefits. It is a full parfocal lens with a multi-bladed round shutter and also has the iris dial on the back of the lens so that you can do smooth iris without any clicks. So it is designed for proper video operation. Obviously has manual focus capability on it, and that's one of the features, is that you can move the ring forward and backwards to click into manual and auto modes. Now back to the camera itself, the lens mount is actually an E-mount on this camera. The nice thing about this lens mount, the E-mount, means it opens up the entire world of lenses to you. You can put optional adapters onto this lens mount very quickly and easily. Things like a Metabones adapter will allow you to put on a Canon EF lens, or you could even get an optional PL type adapter that would allow you to put on any PL high-end production lens. Could also go onto this camera. Again, the sensor that's in this camera is a true 4K resolution sensor. In fact, it's the same sensor that comes from Sony's F5, which is kind of the bigger brother of this camera. This camera actually shares a lot of the feature set, core feature set, with the F5 camera, just has the improved ergonomic for documentary style shooting. So that 4K resolution imager, when you're shooting in HD, provides huge benefit because you're getting super sampled HD. So you're getting better quality than you could with an HD optimized camera because you're basically downsampling, and also gives you the option to record in 4K, so internally on the camera. Now, talking about what we can record on the camera actually records to these little media cards. Now this little media card is called an XQD card. It is a little bit different than maybe what you're used to. It kind of combines the power of what was in Sony's professional cards, the S/S cards, but in a smaller form factor. So there are two slots in the back of this camera so that I can put up to 2 pieces of media into this camera. Because it has the high speed like an S/S card, means that we can record these higher bitrate or higher end codecs. This particular card is an S series card that I have in my hand. With the introduction of this camera, they've also introduced a new G series card. Now, one thing to understand about the difference between the G series and the S series is that you have to use a G series reader to read a G series card. And the G series reader actually comes with the card when you purchase it. The camera's baseline record quality is the 422 8-bit codec, which is Sony's broadcast industry standard XD cam format that people have been using for about a decade. That's the lowest quality that this camera can record at. What Sony has also introduced in this camera is a newer codec. Again, a hand-me-down that was first introduced in the Sony F5 and F55 series called the XAVC codec, the full XAVC. The nice thing about XAVC, baseline, full 10-bit 422. So it is a huge step up in quality, because when you use those codecs in post and you need to color correct or adjust any of the colorimetry, exposures, things like that in post-production, now you have that full 10-bit quality. The camera also utilizes the professional BPU series batteries that were first introduced with the Sony EX1 camera and have been utilized in quite a number of other cameras. The other thing about this camera is the operations. If we start to look at the layout panel on the side of the camera, this camera is very, very easy to operate. And users that are familiar with other Sony cameras, typically in a sub $10,000 price point, would find most of these buttons instantly available to them. They would know exactly what the features are as labeled on the side. You can see that we actually have the pots here so that we can change audio levels, unlike, say, an F5 camera. So although it can record the same quality internally, now we have some of these features like autofocus and white balance and gain switches and things like that that we can set very quickly if we're doing video modes, or we can shift this camera into a full cine mode. And that's another great thing about this camera, is the camera actually has two cine modes of operation, Sony's S-Log 2 and also the newer S-Log 3 S-Gamut 3 cine curves, and which make it very, very easy to capture up to 14 stops of dynamic range that's available from the sensor in this camera. So over on this side, you can see that all of the connectors are rear facing as well, so that you don't have any cables protruding off of the side of the camera or coming out at right angles. So again, up here is just the Wi-Fi connection. So there's a little Wi-Fi dongle you can insert that sticks out a little bit, and that gives you a remote control capability of the camera. Does not transmit video, but gives you control of things. If you have the appropriate lens on, you can control zoom and iris and focus capability, and you can control f-stop. You can also control the remote start-stop of the camera. So basically, that kind of sums up most of the general feature set of the camera. I'm just going to show off a little bit the ergonomics a little bit more for you so I can pick up the camera. So as you can see, the camera has a very nice ergonomic that can lift right up on your shoulder, and with this handle we can adjust that to make it very comfortable to grip. And you can adjust the eyepiece here with the little rod on the top to be able to get the distance so that it's comfortable for your eye. So the little handle here, you can see that on this handle we have a little zoom lever. So if you've got a power zoom lens on the camera, we can actually remotely control zoom. We can actually also, on the front here, there's a dial that I'm moving with my finger that allows me to open and close iris, is one of the options I can set for that. And then on the back here, there's a little joystick that allows me to move through menu operations and things like that on the camera. So it's very comfortable, easy to operate, and again, work around on my shoulder. This is connected to the camera via a link control protocol. So again, you can use any other third-party link controller if you like as well. So if you're looking for a run-and-gun documentary style production camera that has all the power to go all the way up to full cinema level quality, this is the tool for you.